One of the earliest written down stories in a religious tradition includes this great Sumerian goddess Inanna, who goes into an orchard and leans against an apple tree. She has the crown on her head of her people. She's in a place of power. And when she leans against this apple tree, she looks deep into her vulva and she exclaims how wonderful she is, how good she is. And she is so impressed by the power that she sees in this middle place, in this place of creation and emission and power, that she decides to go to the God of wisdom and show him and explain to him and really celebrate herself in this form, in this body. So a lot of times in history, the goddess is unashamed. She is the one that goes in and expresses the fullness of body, the fullness of being. She is the one that reaches into the middle for the pure source of creation and creative intelligence. She is the one that collects all of the powers of the transcendent being and voices it down into the body and into the reality that we see here on earth. Even in some of the early Gnostic texts of early Christianity, we have this idea of complex divine feminine as sound vibration, these many Sophias, these forms of wisdom that are taking the empowerment of the divine and putting it into word, wisdom, and form. And even in the Bible, wisdom is considered this great lady, this great being that is to be adored and honored and vibrated into and with. And of course, folly is her kind of sister that is not such a beautiful dame, not such a beautiful character. But where you have the goddess, you must also have her opposite. So of course, when we have an image of wisdom, we must also have folly. This is a very ancient patterning where with the one comes also its opposite, comes the complexity of the ability to hold opposites, which of course goes back to the imprint of the divine feminine as far back as human memory recalls. Even in the stories of Inanna, she's tempered often against her sister Ereshkigal, who is the goddess of the underworld. In one of the stories, she's crying out in deep pain. And one of the great acts of compassion from these little beings that come down and witness her pain is the echoing of that pain. Oh, I hurt. And they say, oh, I hurt. So it's not a shying away from the dark. It's not a shying away from these places, the holding of the tension inside the underworld, the birthing and the rebirthing, the sound vibration that shimmers over the surface of the waters that then gets echoed into humanity. It's simply the goddess. So how do we bring the goddess back into our form? And what would it look like to simply look into our bodies, into this delicate, tender, or boundaried thing and say, this is good, this is beautiful, this is powerful. Let me go explain how powerful it is. Let me go toast to how powerful it is. Let me be the complex of the two, of the good and the challenging, of the upper world and the lower world, of the body, of the vibration and the form, of the ability to hold pain and joy. That's part of curiosity. That's embodying the goddess.